Oh, that was heartbreaking, hey guys. Oh, beautiful game though. Beautiful game on both teams. Both teams played their asses off. Um, Reffing was very suspect though in this game. I'm gonna get into that in 2 seconds. I just want to go over the trades that happened today because there is a few details I missed on the Kulik trade on my earlier post. I mentioned that Kulik was getting traded for a conditional second round pick, and Legason was going back to Montreal. There is also a 7th round pick going back to Montreal, and the Canadians are retaining half of Kulik's salary. So there's a few little tweaks in that. But I think he's going to be a healthy addition to the Oilers. Starting off this game tonight, the Oilers have 20 games remaining in the season. Their record is 35-23-4. They are 2 points back of the LA Kings for second in the Pacific Division. The Oilers have 2 games on hand on LA, Vegas, Vancouver, and Anaheim. And Nuge is the only one out on injury right now and is set to return on Thursday when they take on the San Jose Sharks in Edmonton. So that's going to be good. Then we'll be fully healthy. We got new additions, so we'll see what happens. As far as Colorado, they have Landeskog, Byron, Gerard out. And two interesting stats that the Sportsnet broadcast crew brought to my attention was so now it's 18 attempts. In 18 attempts, and Mike Smith losing tonight, has now 2 losses in 18 attempts. That's quite the miracle record. And this is the first time this is the first time you saw McDavid and McKinnon clash in 2.5 years. It's hard to believe that we have not seen this matchup in 2.5 years. Like, it's unfortunate, isn't it? But it was what it was. We had the pandemic. We had, travel restrictions. We had public restrictions where you couldn't go out in public and all sorts of stuff. But holy, 2.5 years since we saw this matchup. Anyway, at least we finally get to see them play and meet each other, because what a hell of a game. And we got them 2 more times this year. So it's good, and it's playoff hockey. So anyway, getting right into the first period, within about 5 minutes, Cassian either lost his balance or got checked. I don't know what it was, but he went in very awkwardly and very hard near the end boards. He was no worse for wear. Got up on his own 2 feet, and there was no talk about him getting hurt, but it looked like a dangerous play and potentially injuring play, but he was okay. Both teams very, very tight with their play. Very, very poised, I guess is the best way. Very poised with the play. Very calculative, and even the coaching. If you looked at the coaching, you can tell there was a chess match. There was even death stares going on throughout the game between Bednar and Woody. So, yeah, this was a game for the ages. This was a game that, just like the last game, like these games now going down the stretch are those games that you want to pay for, and you want to see these games in a live setting. Edmonton get the first power play of the game. Colorado get too many men. Weren't able to do anything. Then Colorado get a hooking call from Puljujarvi, kind of a little bit of a suspect call. But it happened. And they capitalize on it, getting a power play goal from Rantanen at 12:42 from McKinnon and Kadri. And just before the end of the period, this was a very noticeable weak call. Darnell Nurse takes 2 for slashing. And just watching the power play of Colorado, it's absolutely lethal. But the Oilers hold tight. The period ends 1-0. We go into the second period. Right early in the second period, Colorado's hemming us, and Smith is holding up the fort. You got to give props to Smith tonight. He had an excellent game. Then Josh Manson of the Avalanche, which is our coach, Dave Manson's son, cross-checks Evander Kane right in the face on the ensuing double minor because Kane was bleeding. Yamamoto scores at 4:07 from Draisaitl and McDavid. So one of the penalties because of that goal, one of them is erased and one of them still exists. So the Oilers still have a power play after that goal. They weren't able to capitalize on that. However, more penalties seem to be coming Colorado's way. And it did seem very one-sided. It seemed like very obvious ones that should have been called on Edmonton weren't being called, and the ones that were very weak and that were being called against Edmonton. So, and even DeBrusque called out the officiating on the broadcast. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate that a good game like that had the poor officiating. Luckily, a good game like that wasn't decided by the poor officiating. So that's the only good thing about that. So then Rantanen gets his second at 6:24 from Makar, followed by Evander Kane at 9:11 from Yamamoto. And this one was an absolute beauty. So those, again, I said this last episode, those naysayers on Kane, I think you really need to give your head a shake. I was actually a naysayer too a little bit because I was a little bit worried of what he was going to bring to the dressing room. Not anymore. This guy's got a set of hands like, wow, beautiful goal. And then Yamamoto gets a tripping penalty before the end of the second. The end of the second ends 2-2. We go to the third period. The great game continues. Fast pace. And it's just all-around good game. And watching McKinnon and how he can release his shot is something else to see. No wonder he is such an elite forward in this game. Anyway, no goals in the third period. We go to overtime. And in overtime, a series of unfortunate events happened where Darnell Nurse manages to lose his bucket. He has to go off the ice. He can't try to play the puck without the bucket or else the Oilers will get called for a 2-minute penalty. There was a little bit of a mad scramble. Colorado bank it. Overtime, 3-2. Colorado wins. So, I'm not disappointed at all with the way the Oilers played. Excellent game. Against the league's best team. So, no problems the way they played this. It's going to be a thrill to watch the next two. But yeah, good job, boys. Good job. You made me one proud person. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow night after the Oilers and Dallas Stars game. Talk soon.